Hey everybody, my name's Nick. I'm an upcoming medical student, and today I'm joined by Danny, who I've been working with for the past 6 weeks or so, who's really helped me through a tremendous amount of musculoskeletal pain, and I really can say that my life has been much better with him. So thank you for coming, Danny, and can you tell me a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, so I basically help people get stronger and develop more confident bodies, and I've been doing that for the last decade. Where I specialize is helping people overcome movement-related pain and limitation, and also some performance anxiety and maybe some other mental obstacles in their way.
Yeah, and I can say for certain that, having worked together, that it's been tremendous in that regard. Can you tell us a little bit about what your method is? How do you do what you do?
So I consider my method to be both holistic and individual. So by holistic, I mean I inherently use the relationship between the mind and the body. And by individual, what I mean is I take into account where the individual is coming from and where they'd like to go. My approach takes about 3 different stages, starting first with an assessment, and that assessment is based around posture, ranges of motion, and I try to understand how you interact with gravity and how you move. And so that first stage comprises of postural restoration and increasing mobility. The second stage here is building functional patterns, and so once we've got the posture down, increased ranges of motion, now we got to teach how to move properly in a non-painful way. The third stage is where we start loading and challenging those positions and movements a little bit more, and we take into account what that individual, what activity they'd like to do, whether it's a sport or a certain lifestyle, and all that leads towards building a very resilient and confident body that can tolerate the demands of their life.
You're obviously very knowledgeable at what you do. Based off just us working together, it's clear that you have a profound understanding of the musculoskeletal system, how it interacts with the nervous system, and how it interacts with the world around us. So I'm curious, how does one go about learning all of this?
So I suppose the journey started when, as soon as I graduated from college, and I had started learning Olympic weightlifting with my own coach. The sport is very demanding in terms of the requisite ranges of motion and the ability to move properly. And so that was kind of the foundation of developing all of these movement capacities and joint ranges of motion for myself. I became interested in becoming a coach right around that time. And so my first certification was as a USAW weightlifting coach. From there, I became a strength and conditioning coach through the National Strength and Conditioning Association, which enabled me to learn how professional athletes and D1 college athletes prepare to best meet the demands of their competition. Following that, I studied with a Postural Restoration Institute, which I think is doing a fantastic job of addressing the underlying asymmetry of the human body and how respiration, the autonomic nervous system, as well as all the other systems that are involved in posture come into play, and how we can go about restoring the patterns that result out of asymmetry.
With my own experience, it was very hard getting kind of an answer to it that was in depth and personalized for me, and that's something I really appreciate about the work that we do together, where it's obviously longitudinal, but you take the time, and I think that's just something that is often missing, and that was really helpful in motivating me to continue. I wonder, kind of conversely, what motivates you to continue this work? What keeps you going every day?
As a coach, you just end up having very close relationships with the people that you work with, and they are at whatever stage of the life cycle here, whether they're currently experiencing injury and pain, or they're trying to get stronger and more powerful, or they're at their peak already and just want to find ways to maintain that level of performance. And so really it's about the relationship at the end of the day, how people work, what makes them different.
Yeah.
And I suppose one of the benefits of being a coach as opposed to somebody who just deals only with just the pain component of this is that I get to share in the client's successes, as well as being responsible for helping them through, I guess, the low periods as well.
Yeah. And so, obviously, I live in New York, you live in New York, and we're able to work together, despite a lot of our meetings being virtual. Are you able to help people that are, let's say, outside of New York?
Absolutely. About 90% of my work is done virtually. And over the last couple of years, I've been building out a program, and the program is designed to, walk you through all of the stages that I mentioned, the assessments, the postural restoration, the increasing kinetic chain mobility, the building functional patterns, the challenging the different systems, the different movements, right, that are related to the lifestyle that you want to achieve. This is done completely virtually. You still have the one-on-one support. You have the coached instruction, and basically I take all the guesswork out of the process, and all I ask from people who are struggling with this and want to take ownership of their situation and jump on this program is that they invest the time, effort, resources into themselves, and together we can achieve the life that you deserve to have.
Yeah. So Danny, thanks so much for taking the time to meet. I really learned a lot, and I think your work is going to help a lot of people.
Yeah, I appreciate that, Nick. And one of the things I want to mention is, I'm really glad that we had a chance to meet and to work on, problems personally. But also, when you mentioned that the areas of, the areas that you want to study include like psychiatry and, sports medicine, things that are very related to the type of work that I've become committed to. Essentially, the way I see you is that you're the future. So I'm really glad to have.
Thank you, man. I really appreciate that, and yeah, I'll take that to heart.